Hey guys, today's lesson is on American colonialism.
Most people know that the United States started as 13 original British colonies.
But there's a lot more to it than that. Today's video is telling you all about it.
To understand what colonialism is, we must first understand what a colony is. A colony is a country or area under the political control of another country, typically a distant one, and occupied by settlers from that country.
So if America began as 13 independent colonies, that means that they were settled by British subjects. So if they were subjects of British law and the king, why did they cross the Atlantic to come to North America? Well, there's several reasons.
First, we have to think about the abundance of land that is here in America. In England, it's a small country with over 5 million people. The chances to own land in England are very small. The lower class citizens were not capable of owning a large amount of land, therefore they had to occupy cities with high population densities.
There were also chances for profit. The continent of North America is incredibly rich in natural resources. All those resources and fertile lands meant big potential for huge profits. A lot of wealthy aristocrats from England invested large sums of money in the colonies, particularly in the tobacco and cotton trades. Then they moved to the New World to oversee their investments to personally make sure they made profit.
The final reason people came to the colonies was indentured servitude. So what are indentured servants? Indentured servants are members of the British lower class who left England to work as servants in the colonies in exchange for food, shelter, and debt forgiveness.
Typically, these members of the British lower class could not afford the voyage themselves, so the opportunity to come to the New World and have their debt forgiven by working in terms of servitude about 4 to 7 years gave them an opportunity for social mobility, which means after they had finished their terms of service, they had the ability themselves to collect money and own land.
So why does a country even want colonies to begin with? The answer is mercantilism. Mercantilism is an economic system where nations compete for wealth and power by exploiting colonies around the world for their resources.
The idea is nations needed as much gold and silver as possible, while at the same time exporting or selling more of their goods than they import or buy from their neighbors. Several major European powers, such as England, France, Spain, the Netherlands, and Portugal, fought for control of areas of the world during the era of colonialism. Designated by the flags on this map, you can see the areas of the world where these countries fought for more wealth and therefore more power and influence around the globe.
Focusing on the North American continent, you can see 3 main powers were competing for land. Each of these countries was fighting in order to gain as many resources as possible to bring back to their motherland. Early America was transformed by the prosperity of mercantilism. The most famous example of a prosperous colony was Jamestown, Virginia. Jamestown was the first permanent settlement in America built on the tobacco industry.
As a matter of fact, Jamestown almost didn't survive. The very first settlers who landed there were not prepared for the harsh winters and foraging for food and supplies. Instead, they were focused on finding riches like gold, silver, and other precious materials. They also developed a really bad relationship with the nearby native tribes, which is why you see a fort built around the town.
Other southern colonies thrived on the plantation economy as well. They focus on creating cash crops. Cash crops are grown purely for profit and not for consumption.
The last region of British North America that prospered were the northern colonies. The northern colonies expanded and prospered mostly due to trade with Great Britain. Port cities like New York, Boston, and Philadelphia became major cities and still are today in large part due to the economy that developed there during the colonial age. Pictured here are the 3 regions of British colonies in North America during the colonial age, and the economies that developed from each region. In the northern colonies, you can see that mostly the economy was based on shipping, trade, and sea-based industries like fishing and whaling.
Southern colonies, again, are focused more on cash crops, such as tobacco, rice, and indigo. And in the middle colonies, we kind of have a mix of the both. You have shipping, and you also have cash crops.
The reason why this is important is because the society, culture, and economies of each region are still around today. Southern states tend to grow more crops and are more agricultural, while northern states, like New York, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts, see large urban areas based on trade and manufacturing.